Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, thoughts turn to New Year's Eve and how we're all going to celebrate. What happens when you are the leader of one of the most renowned bands in America and we've got a pandemic? We'll find out next on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Well, it's hard to think about New Year's Eve or weddings or any kind of celebration without thinking about this man, Deno Taglioli. He is the founder of Emerald City Band, and we've known each other now for more than 2 decades.
That's right. We go back, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, well,
Appreciate it.
I'm thrilled. I used to bump into you all the time at Fox 4 because you would get up, I don't even know what time of day.
6 a.m. we start loading in. Yeah.
And the studio was popping. I mean, you could hear them down the hall in the newsroom. But I want to start in the early days. I mean, before you got famous, you grew up in Detroit.
Grew up in Detroit, and music is what I loved. Great place to be from, if you love music. Motown was happening.
Absolutely.
And I soaked all that music in. Growing up, 63, 65, 67, 68, all those pop songs, CKLW.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
You're from Detroit, so you know. And I took that with me to Texas. I took all that music, and of course, I studied classical music with the Detroit Symphony people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, do you remember your first paying gig?
Yeah, I think it was with a good friend of mine, Al Hoffman. He played the accordion, and his dad played sax. And we played a wedding.
How much did you make?
$50 a minute.
$50. Yeah, and you thought you were living large. You were like, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so tell us about the growth of Emerald City.
Well, in '83, I started the band out of passion. This whole thing is out of passion. There's no real business model. It's about making music, playing music, and entertaining. And so, '83, started the band, and playing Memphis, and just grew and grew and grew, lines around the building. Club Memphis and Addison, then started doing parties, shows, weddings, corporate events.
And it just took off. And we were lucky enough to get you to perform at our wedding. And you've given me a lot of credibility over the years. When people ask about my wedding, I said, we had Emerald City as our band. They're like, no, you got Emerald City. So I want to show some pictures because you've been able to rub elbows with the rich and famous through your career. Look at all of those amazing people you've had a chance to meet. Katie Couric, as you look at that screen, what who comes to mind? Who do you want to talk about?
I love all those events. Playing the Mavs games, Oprah, Zach Brown, the president, White House.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have been blessed.
I have been blessed. And, really, I didn't think I'd be doing it this long. But I think consistency and effort.
What makes Emerald City stand out?
We connect the dots to the people. I really believe that our music touches people. And so I think that's the common denominator. I've always believed that taking the music past the front of the stage.
Yes.
Taking it to the people, getting them involved, making them feel like they're one of us.
Yes. I wish I had pictures from our wedding to show because Deno and his gang were down on the floor and mixing it up with everybody. I mean, is there an art to, have you ever had a room this is a dead room? We need to heat this thing up. We need to get this party started. Do you ever have a challenge where you?
Oh yeah. There'll be slow starts, but it always comes to. There's slow starts.
There are some songs that you play and they just can't sit down.
There are songs that we go to when we need to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Yep.
September, Earth, Wind and Fire. There's some great party songs. We grew up with.
Yes.
And you do those songs, people can't sit down, right?
And how many bands do you have now?
We have 5 bands total.
That's amazing. Okay, we got to talk about the pandemic because that hit all of us.
Oh my God!
So take me back to March. I mean,
March 15th. It all hit, and I had about 100 jobs get displaced.
Wow.
Rescheduled, and it was a bad time for musicians.
Yeah. We've got a little video we want to go ahead and play right now.
Emerald City. Emerald City is the most sought-after party band in the world. With over 30 years experience, 300 performances a year, corporate events to thousands of weddings, this band's played it all.
Wait a minute.
We played every house of blues in America, every theme park, Universal, from the West Coast to Florida, Grand Ole Opry, twice for the president at the White House, Ford Motor Company, IBM, Southwest Airlines.
NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith, Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban.
When we do a show, we customize it for the client. We sit down with the client right away, find out what they're looking for, what kind of music do they like, how many guests are going to be there, is it going to be at their house, is it going to be in a ballroom, is it going to be in a showroom? We customize our equipment, our setup, everything to fit that occasion.
Dance to the music. Dance to the music.
There's a lot that goes into being the best party band in the world. We put a lot of emphasis on production, the very best in lights, LED curtains, the best sound system you can buy, and it really affects the outcome of our show.
Wow. You know, one of the things that I experienced myself is just because you've played the song 1,500 times,
Yeah.
you treat it as if this is the first time you've ever performed.
Well, you got to
this song.
love it, exactly. People can tell. If you're just going through the motions, people could tell.
Yeah, the energy is off the charts.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about New Year's Eve because you've got an event coming up, and we're going to put it on the screen. It's a live streaming event.
Live stream, pay-per-view, safety, keeping COVID in mind. Let's bring the music to your house.
Wow.
Let's bring Emerald City live to your house for your friends and the safety of your home.
It's a brilliant idea because people still want to party. Have you ever had a year that people have looked forward to with more expectations?
Well,
than
people are
2021?
dying for live music right now.
They are.
Oh man, they're dying. When we play jobs, and we're doing some jobs.
Cool.
But we do it with safety protocols in place. That's first and foremost. But we're doing jobs, and people are just like over the moon because I think it's an emotional. It's something about music. I mean, it's like the interaction that we've been lacking sometimes since March because of COVID. And that music is another part of that interaction that we need as humans.
And it has a way of taking them back. I mean, you can play a song and say, "Oh, okay, I was in high school.
Exactly.
I kissed my first girl to that song."
Exactly.
I mean, it's magic, isn't it?
It is, and there's so I think now that we've taken this journey, this COVID journey, I think we find ourselves on the other side realizing how important music is, realizing how important relationships are, realizing how important work is. I was doing 250 jobs a year in 19, 18, 17, 16, traveling all over the country. Wow. I'd be in Cancun one night, I'd be in Miami another, and I said, I need a break. Well, I've had a break. Yeah. And now I realize how valuable and how lucky, fortunate, and blessed I've been.
Do you ever get nervous? I mean, I looked at some of those, playing for Mark Cuban, playing at the White House twice. I mean,
it's funny. I was telling you earlier, when I'm on stage, for the most part, there's some apprehension. If you've done this a long time, maybe interviewing somebody who you got to get your game on a little bit, and playing the White House with the president was special.
Wow.
But no, live, I'm good on with the live thing. I was telling you when I was doing TV, that's something different for me, doing the 8 a.m. broadcast.
Yes.
You got to get used to that.
All right, do you ever forget the words?
Yes.
So what do you do?
I'm going to break into two things. I'm going to make up words, or I'm going to say, "How's everybody doing this evening? Put your hands in the air."
Before the show, you mentioned I'm a big Beatles fan. So
Right.
you've gotten to know
I have
Ringo Starr?
two of my best friends I grew up with in Detroit and Warren, Greg Bissonette and Matt Bissonette. I mean, I knew him in Detroit. We came to Texas together. They're off in L.A. And I mean, think about this. How many iconic singers are left?
Right.
Elton John, some of the Beatles.
Yep. And that's it. Yeah.
Anybody else? Well, Matt plays bass for Elton,
Wow.
and Greg plays drums for Ringo.
Those
Yeah.
are some A-listers, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So what's your prediction for 2021? Do you see
Slow
us-
starting.
Okay.
I think we're still going through this. I think the vaccine
Yeah.
and all that will help.
Awesome. Well, you have been an amazing guest. We're going to put the website up so
Well, thank you. I
everybody can
appreciate
get in touch. EmeraldCityBand.com is the website. Deno, thank you so much. It's been
Man,
an
I'm
honor.
grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
You
I
bet.
appreciate it.
And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.